They gave me 5 years for something that should have been probation, not because the crime was serious, because the election was close. District Attorney Marcus Thornhill needed a tough-on-crime win. I was 24, first offense, wrong place at the wrong time. He made me the poster child for his campaign. Judge handed down 60 months. The courtroom gasped. Even my public defender looked shocked. Thornhill gave a press conference on the courthouse steps while I was being processed, called me a menace to society, used my mugshot in campaign ads. He won his race. I started counting days. But here's what he didn't plan for. I had time, a lot of it, and I wasn't going to waste it. Most guys inside spend their time lifting weights, watching TV, or plotting revenge fantasies they'll never execute. I signed up for every prison education program they had: GED prep, community college correspondence courses, financial literacy through a re-entry nonprofit, and then I got approved for the tablet program. It wasn't some contraband burner phone. This was legit. Restricted internet access, monitored email, approved educational apps. The prison system partnered with a tech company trying to reduce recidivism through digital skills training. I learned Excel. I learned Python. I read every book on investing, business, and tax law I could access through the digital library. The irony? Thornhill's own criminal justice reform initiative funded the program. He signed the press release, smiled for the photo op. He paid for the rope I'd eventually use to hang his career. My cellmate thought I was insane. What are you gonna do? Day trade from a 6x8 cell? Close. I couldn't trade stocks myself, but my sister could. She was working 2 jobs, barely scraping by. I called her every week, walked her through everything I was learning. I'd research, she'd execute. We started with $500 she scraped together from tips. I built spreadsheets tracking patterns, sectors, momentum plays. She made the trades through a Robinhood account. First 6 months, we lost $200. I recalculated, adjusted, learned from every mistake. Month 7, we made it all back plus $150. Turns out prison gives you an edge in trading. You're already used to watching everything you have disappear overnight. By the end of year 2, the account had $4,200. My sister quit one of her jobs. I kept studying. I also started keeping a file. Every article about Thornhill, every case he prosecuted, every speech he gave, I had time to read between the lines. By the time my release date came up, we had $34,000 in capital and a functioning consulting business helping small investors optimize their portfolios. The parole board asked what I planned to do when I got out. I told them I already had a job. They looked confused. Turns out, I ran a business from my cell isn't the answer they expect from a guy who's supposed to be rehabilitated. But it was true, and I walked out with something Thornhill never thought I'd have: leverage. I didn't go to the press. Not yet. I hired a private investigator. Former prosecutor, actually. Guy who left the DA's office because he got tired of watching corners get cut. I gave him a list. Every case Thornhill built his career on. Every tough-on-crime conviction that got him headlines. It took 4 months. What we found was a pattern: 12 cases, 12 people sentenced disproportionately during election years. 3 of them had evidence that was later questioned. 1 had a witness who recanted, but the DA's office never followed up. My case wasn't unique, it was a strategy. Thornhill was running for state attorney general. His whole campaign was built on his conviction record. I had $34,000, a growing business, and a file full of receipts. So I made a call. His opponent, a defense attorney named Rachel Ortiz, had been running a grassroots campaign on criminal justice reform. She was getting crushed in the polls. Thornhill had 10 times her funding. I offered her $25,000 and the entire investigative file. She asked why. I said, because he gave me 5 years to think about this. Revenge is a dish best served with a 501c4 and a media strategy. Ortiz's campaign dropped the report 3 weeks before the election, not as a campaign ad, as a public records request to the State Bar and the Wrongful Conviction Review Board. The headlines wrote themselves: AG candidate's tough-on-crime record built on questionable convictions, 12 cases under review in Thornhill sentencing scandal. Did a district attorney jail innocents to win elections? Thornhill tried to spin it, called it a political hit job, said I was a convicted criminal with an axe to grind. But then the review board started overturning cases. First 1, then 2, then 5. The State Bar opened an ethics investigation. His campaign imploded. Donors pulled out. Endorsements evaporated. Ortiz won by 14 points. And me? I was sitting in my 1-bedroom apartment watching the election results come in, running my business, fully legal, fully free. Thornhill didn't just lose the race, he lost his law license. 3 of the people whose convictions got overturned filed civil suits. The county settled for a combined $4.2 million. His legacy, every tough-on-crime speech, every campaign poster, every press conference, reduced to a cautionary tale about prosecutorial misconduct, all because he gave a 24-year-old kid 5 years to think. Turns out the real criminal justice reform was the business I built along the way. Here's what I learned. They can take your freedom, they can take your time, they can take 5 years of your life and turn it into a campaign slogan, but they can't take what you learn. I didn't waste those 5 years planning revenge. I spent them building leverage, and when the moment came, I didn't need to break any laws. I just needed patience, a file full of facts, and $25,000 I earned one trade at a time. Thornhill thought he was making an example out of me. Turns out, I was making a case study out of him.
They thought they'd won the game.